Now that all of your listing paperwork is filled in, you have all the documents you need in your documents on your dashboard. Let's talk about how we take this over to be signed. This is going to happen the same way that you did your buyer paperwork through Transaction Desk, but I will go over this as well because, practice, practice, practice. So I like to click the first form I want to see, which is my listing agreement. Once the listing agreement comes up on the page, I'm going to go ahead and click the pen button. So here it is brought into AuthentiSign. The first thing it's going to prompt us to do is to add participants. So we're going to want to go ahead and add the participants from this transaction. It's going to be the buyer, it's going to be both sellers, and then it's going to be the agent. All three are remote signers. Don't forget, if you are adding me, if you've been licensed under 2 years, you need to make sure that you are adding me. And when you add me, instead of making me a signer, click this drop-down arrow and click reviewer. I don't need to be a signer on your transaction. I only need to be a reviewer. You don't want to set a signing order, because if you do this, what happens is it will sign in the order no matter what. So say seller number 1 is really, really slow and seller number 2 is really, really fast. And, sometimes seller number 2 signs first, sometimes seller number 1 signs first. By keeping the signing order, it will not let the second signer even access to sign the documents until the first signer has completed it. So leave this alone and let it just be as it is. Next, we're going to go to documents. We're going to add the documents from this transaction, and you're going to see that it has them all listed here. And the order you click them is the order they get added to this transaction signing. So I'm going to go ahead and click my input sheet. And then I'm just going to click all the rest of my things, my Form 17, my FERPTA, my disclosures. I'm not going to be adding in my financing notice, but I am going to be adding in my brokerage in Washington pamphlet. And I'm also going to probably wait to add in my wire fraud pamphlet until I know for sure who the title company is and our closer. Once you've clicked all your documents, go ahead and click close. Now, let's just say that I want to change the order of how this is because I like things a specific way. You can go ahead and click on the 6 dots and just drag the documents to a different order, and it'll show up on the left. So take this time right now on the left to scroll down and make sure everything is filled out completely, and we'll be ready for signing. Now, it doesn't populate the signatures in the signing block, and that is because my signers from the transaction don't have an email. So it's impossible to have them sign with no email. We want to go ahead and make sure that all of our contacts have that email so they can be populated into the signing blocks. And if you ever see somebody not populated in there, that's probably why. So say I want to get my signers a signing block in here and I forgot to put their email in. What can I do from this point? Well, you can click the back arrow. You can save the progress as you have it so far. And just remember, everything goes back to Wizard. Wizard is on the top right. When you click Wizard, you can go back to any of these spaces and you can find or update anything that needs to be updated. So for my seller, I'm going to click Edit. Then I'm going to go ahead and make an email address. And hit save. Other seller, I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. Put his email address in there. And then hit save. Now, those are going to be different email addresses. The ones I'm using are merely for example. And then I will hit save and exit on the bottom. Now, to go back into assigning from here, very easily, we're going to go over to the left menu and we're going to click the pen icon. If you wanted to see more of this menu, there's a tiny little hamburger icon on the top that you can click, which opens it up and explains where everything is. So I'm going to go ahead and click signings. I'm working on this top signing right here. And now I can go and add my participants from the transaction. And I can hit select. Now that I have them in there, it gives them signing blocks, it color codes them, and you can go through and make sure the signatures are on all the pages necessary. So after you've looked through this to make sure their signatures are everywhere they need to be, you are now ready to send the signing to your client by hitting next. When you hit send, the email will show up in their inbox and they can click through to sign everything. Once that is signed around, you'll get a confirmation email saying that's been signed. And then that is when you can submit your listing to the MLS.